Hello, hello, my emotional wisdom community. I am going to draw a card from my self-awareness starts with self-reflection cards. I want you to answer the card that we're going to pull. Okay? All right, here we go. Okay, I pulled the card. Let's see what it wants us to ask ourselves. The card reads, what have I tolerated from people in the past that I no longer have space for? But the reason why this card is extremely important. Why? Because if you're currently in a situation where you're tolerating a person, a thing, a behavior, action, etc., if you're tolerating that and you're still tolerating it, you're only blocking your blessings. You see, you're actually blocking what you really want, because you're invested and you're attached and you're committed to that person that no longer serves you. If you're still committed to that thing that that person's doing, if you're still tolerating that, then you're still committed to that. Then you're still holding space, actually robbing space from you for what you really want to come in. You see, we need to create space for what we really want. So let me see if I can answer this. What have I tolerated from people in the past that I no longer have space for? What I want to say that for the most part, I don't like to tolerate anything that is robbing me from my truth. I want to say that anytime I'm aware of it, I like to address it. So, but I will share something that's coming to mind that I thought I was being good, but it was actually robbing me from my truth. It was robbing me from my truth. And I want to say that I had a friendship, and it just wasn't just one. I had several friendships, but it was a particular friendship where I couldn't be completely honest about my truth, about me, because this person, her energy felt very resistant to mine. And so I noticed that I had to limit my conversations when I would have conversations with her. Well, that's a problem because I'm unable to be authentic. You see, I'm unable to be me to accommodate her. So essentially I was abandoning me to accommodate her. And then I thought about disconnecting or severing the relationship. Still love her, but just no longer, invest my energy. But something within me would say, there was an aspect of me that would say, but you're not good. That's not what good people do. I couldn't be fooling me. And I was essentially robbing myself from my truth, from speaking my truth. And when I would think about wanting to disconnect, or rather said, just no longer be committed to this friendship in the same level that I was, something inside of me, the opposite of the part of me that wanted to no longer invest my energy to that person, was saying to me, the opposite of that was saying, but good people don't do this. Good people don't just sever friendships, essentially. So I felt guilty to just say, you know what, our friendship is no longer compatible. I felt guilty. I wanted to, but something inside of me felt like bad to do that. It felt like I was giving up. It felt like I wasn't doing enough shadow work to understand what is it that's affecting me. when all along I knew. It's that when I do speak my truth with this friend, they get bothered, they get annoyed. And I did it several times, and I conveyed them this information, yet it stayed the same. So obviously at this point, it gets to a point essentially where it's no longer fruitful. The relationship is no longer fruitful. It's in fact very limiting. You're capping your ability of growth there. Hence why I say you're robbing yourself from your truth. I wasn't allowed to be my truth. I had to be what they felt safe in. And I get that as a coach. I have to be that safe space for someone. But if you're my friend, right, and we're both an even exchange of energy, and we're both in this friendship committed to give each other a safe space and what we need, if you will, right? If I'm saying I don't feel safe when you don't allow me to be my truth, and yet, and essentially my friend should want to honor that, right? A friend should want to say, oh, I'm sorry. Well, what am I doing that's creating this unsafety? Or what am I doing that's threatening you? What am I doing that you are feeling uncomfortable in, right? Because obviously when you care about someone, that's what you do. You want to try to find resolve. You want to try to find a way where you both could give each other what you need. And so your friendship and your bond can get stronger. You see what I'm saying? So back to the example in terms of what have I tolerated from people in the past that I no longer have space for, is watering friendships that I know deep inside we're not compatible. Or, let's get more specific, watering friendships in which I know that if I'm me and it's bothering them and they're triggered and we can't seem to find resolve, then maybe the time has come to part ways. We can still love each other. Just because people part ways doesn't mean you stop loving someone. I do want to emphasize on that. If you believe that to be true, if you believe the moment you stop communicating with someone that you stopped loving them, your definition of love is a little distorted. As I was saying, maybe I need to walk away from the friendship, still love them, okay, very important. Walk away from the friendship, no longer invest my energy. That will then give them an opportunity for them to introspect. Maybe they can invite someone else into their reality where they can obtain the opportunity for self-awareness. Maybe this other person that comes into their lives could help them see something within themselves. Sometimes when people are resisting you, the only way they may be willing to see themselves is when you're no longer there, investing your energy. I've seen that happen many times. But I want to elaborate that when you do walk away from something, meaning you don't commit the same way, you're not giving yourself to them, doesn't mean you no longer love them. I mean, that's very important. You know, if you believe that you're no longer loving them because you've walked away, then you have love. The definition of love inside of you, within you, is a little distorted. And so we need to redefine and look into what love is. And I think that some people believe that when I was that person, so I'm not going to say some people, I was that person who felt really guilty that if I was to stop investing my energy to this particular friendship, that meant that I wasn't good, or mainly that I hadn't done enough shadow work to heal me. So whatever they're doing is not affecting me. But when I really got honest with myself, I realized it's not even about that. It's about me sharing my truth to them and them over and over not wanting to hear it, them rejecting it to where I've conveyed it to them, like, hey, you know, you make me feel this, I feel like I'm unable to share with you about my truth, and almost like you're resisting and you don't want to hear it. And so once I did that and yet nothing changed, I realized, yeah, it's not for me right now. Meaning I need to let them go, because at this point I'm denying my truth when I'm around them. And I want to say, and I say this from a loving space, the most selfless space, is I'm more important. It might sound selfish, but I'm more important, because see, no one is going to put you first but you. So at this point I had to decide who's important here. Keeping this friendship so I can ultimately feel like I'm a good person and I'm not just running away from our friendship and I'm not just abandoning them, or do I need to choose me? And is that choosing me? Do good people do that? Do good people sever friendships? And that was hard for me. That was hard for me, but when I did, it was the best thing I could have done for me. Anyway, let me know, y'all, what have you tolerated that is time to let go? You know, that you no longer, that you finally today, after watching this video, give yourself permission to let go. You can still love that. Letting go is different than to stop loving them. Okay, I feel like that's important to elaborate. Like I said, if you stumble onto this video after the live, you were meant to ask yourself this question. This question is very powerful, because the more you continue to tolerate person, place, or thing, then you're robbing yourself from your truth, and you're sacrificing yourself for them. And that is not self-love. We get confused. We think that's self-love because we learned it from mom and dad and or our authority figures, to abandon what we want to satisfy them so they can love us. I did that. I repeat. I feel called to repeat that. Whenever you are that people pleaser who is tolerating so you won't lose them, or so you won't feel like you're being abandoned, and so you can feel good and you can still feel worthy and accepted, that's not self-love. We think it's loving to sacrifice ourselves for another. We think it's self-loving to tolerate something, but at the end of the day is not. And when you tolerate something so you can feel good, be accepted, be loved, you have to ask yourself, where did you learn this? And I can tell you where I learned it was when I was little. I learned when I was little that I couldn't really have my truth if I wanted to be loved by my mom and my dad. I couldn't really have my truth. So I learned to let go of my truth and adopt what they felt was best for me to be or believe, so I can be accepted and loved by the people I needed the very most. And so it happens. And if you're that person that tends to tolerate things and people please for whatever reason, at the end of the day, it's so you won't feel alone or feel rejected or whatnot, you need to ask yourself, is this what I used to do when I was little? Did I have to deny my truth in whatever way to have my mom, my dad, my authority figures, my teacher to like me? And so I leave you with that. With all the love and full acceptance, Josie.